Welcome to Contractor Cuts, where we cover the good, the bad, and the ugly of growing a successful contracting company.
Hi, my name's Clark Turner. I'm a general contractor. I'm also the founder of ProServe Alliance, and I'm with Jared Flowe, our director of operations at ProServe Alliance, as well as one of the key people in helping build our contracting company. Jared, what is this podcast all about?
So Contractor Cuts is something that we created because as contractors ourselves, we've realized that it is impossible to find time to learn, to get educated, maybe learn from other people. There's just no time in this business. So Contractor Cuts, we're putting together short, easy to listen to podcasts that you can listen to as you go to job sites, between jobs, to kind of learn from our experience and the mistakes that we've made.
Yeah, that's great. So we've grown a contracting company from the ground up, from me being a one-man show to hiring Jared. We're going to take you through on this first episode our journey from one-man show to doing over 700 renovations a year, and kind of talk through where we came from and how we got here and kind of what this podcast is about. It's going to be a little different format than our normal podcasts. There are going to be more single one-off topics per podcast that are going to be more around different mistakes we've made, things that we've done that have really helped us or really hurt us in the past, hoping that you guys learn something from it and can take something away from listening. Yep. So going to the beginning, I started a general contracting company 15 years ago, almost 16 years ago, and I was a one-man show. I didn't know what I was doing. I was driving around bidding jobs, hoping I make more money than I spend day in and day out. Started really growing. I did that for 5, 6, 7 years.
In the grind
for a long time, driving my $900 S10, going job site to job site, trying to make money. So I did that for a while, trying to figure out how do I create this into a business that I am not always grinding in. I brought on Jared about 7 years into that. I landed some big clients. I needed someone to help me, and so brought him in as a project manager officially, I think, when he started. But the goal was to help me organize what we're doing and help us grow this to the next level. Brought you in. You started with us and kind of took over the field management for us, all the project management. You were running the crews. I was dealing with the clients, kind of growing the company, and we realized we need to build processes and procedures to where we can eventually train people to do our jobs.
And the very beginning of that is that our processes and procedures were going from a yellow pad into spreadsheets, just trying to create some organization to all the chaos that we had going on.
Yeah, we had 3, 4, 5 different softwares we were trying to use, combining them. We were writing estimates over here, sending invoices over here, QuickBooks for this, spreadsheets for other things. So that's what we were running, trying to figure out how do we make this a very easy, smooth process to where we can really double down on customer service as well as in and out of properties, get very efficient financially. Yep. And we started building out those processes. What does that look like? How do we do that outside of work? Right. We were going on. We'd go away for a couple days on a company retreat with the two of us. Would sit down and say, okay, what's not working? What do we need to change? What do we need to do?
Yeah. We'd look at what was working, what didn't work, and then try and make a plan of how to execute differently moving forward. Yeah.
That's right. And so started doing that. And actually at the time we had a good friend that was a software developer, and we traded with him to where he built out and took all of our spreadsheets and made this basic software for us to where it kind of combined everything that we were doing. It wasn't basic at the time. It felt really, very high tech for us to have our own software
from spreadsheets
when it's just a couple of us running it. But we put them all together into the software, built out what we needed. And that was the beginning of the most expensive journey we've ever taken in terms of software development. We spent years and years and years tweaking and fixing and changing the software. As we started hiring people, duplicating ourselves, bringing people on, we saw the holes. We saw where there was no accountability. We saw where, okay, this is where we're losing money all the time. And we started building the software to really be safety nets on those spots.
Yeah, watching the spots that were happening over and over and on jobs where we were wasting money, or we were dropping the ball and communicating to a client, whatever it was, those things kept happening, and we would look at the software and say, what can we implement into the software to kind of be a safety net for those things and kind of help keep us accountable to that level of customer service we were trying to replicate.
Yep. And so from there, as we started forming these processes, procedures, and implementing them into the software, we started growing. I mean, we grew year over year over year by figuring out this is how we hire people, this is how a project manager comes in. I mean, through today, we are still tweaking the process always. We're always trying to figure out a little bit better way to do things. But we grew it to a spot to where we could bring in project managers. We had a head of renovation. And so we got to a point probably, I think about 2 years ago, that we're trying to figure out what's next, or I was trying to figure out what's next. As an entrepreneur, everything was set up. It was running better when I wasn't getting my hands in it. And it was a finely tuned clock in terms of how things were running. And so we decided 2 years ago I was going to step out of the company. We brought one of our employees that had moved up to our head of renovations. We brought him into a general manager role, and I stepped out to start ProServe Alliance. And ProServe Alliance is our company that we help other contractors learn from our mistakes. What we give them our software, we give them our processes, our procedures. We train them and we teach them everything that we've learned and kind of our systematic way that we run jobs, and give them the software along with that.
They're basically doing what we were already doing in the first place. When we got to that place, there were a few contractors that we were coming alongside and kind of helping them learn from our mistakes, and even sharing some paperwork with them, ideas, things that worked and didn't work with us. We were already kind of stepping in and helping some of those other contractors that were close-knit friends with us. We realized this is fun. We really
passion.
Enjoy doing this. Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was one of those things where I was more in a position to be able to step out. You stayed in. You were head of a division at the time.
Kind of a big deal.
You were more needed than I was in the company. And so I stepped out to help. And really we started one at a time helping contractors where we kind of embrace them, bring them into the trainings and that sort of thing. And then from there, you eventually stepped out of that company as well, and to where you can now transition full-time to where we're both in this company. And we've got some other employees now in ProServe Alliance, but we grew our contracting company to a spot to where it is making enough money to support us outside of it, and to where we can step out and pursue our passions, which is helping contractors grow their company.
Well, and the general manager that we brought in has all the best parts of the things that we're really crappy at.
Yep.
He's really, really good in that role. He's really good with people. He's slamming it. He's really killing it.
Yeah, and that's the goal. Is you aren't the hero in the story. You find people who are better at you at the things that are better needed for that job position, right?
Yep.
So I am a self-proclaimed disorganized, bad with details. I've got barriers in my life that cause that, but what I do is I set up these guardrails to where this is how I organize, but that's not my flow zone. That's not where I'm great at all the time, and I do. So
you're motivated by forward movement.
Absolutely, I'm motivated by growth. I'm an ideas. I'm always going to have something that I'm working on that's growth to get us to the next spot. But we brought in a general manager that is detail focused, that is good at sitting and not letting things fall through the cracks, to where he's better than I was in that job position. I'm still the owner of that company, but he gets paid well off the profits of the company. So
and where that works really well, the place that you do go back in and have meetings with him once a month maybe, is because you're motivated by the forward motion and the movement. He's motivated by making sure that he's got all the details and understands the finances, and making sure that he's protecting the value of the company. And sometimes that distracts him from the forward movement. So you get to come in and kind of help him see, all right, cool, you're killing it here. Let's move. Let's keep growing. Let's keep developing.
It's honestly ideal because I get to step in for the forward movement stuff that I enjoy and that I'm good at. Of who should we hire? How do we grow to the next level? How do we, maybe we should add this department. Maybe we should focus more on homeowners. We had a lot of investors coming up. So I think we've set it up to where I help him at that spot that I'm good at, and you're part of it too. I mean, you step in and meet with them occasionally about subs and finding vendors and dealing with employees and that sort of thing. So we're sounding boards for him, but really aren't involved in that company anymore outside of ensuring growth and stability, and that the final product is better than the original product that we even started building. Right, so that's kind of where we've grown to. We've started this podcast because we want to help contractors not make the same mistakes we made. We made a ton of mistakes growing our company, and it cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 15 years. And sometimes in specific years, 2016, I think we lost hundreds of thousands in single years, right? And so our goal is to be able to give contractors a shortcut of some information that we learned along the way. We do 700 houses a year renovation wise. Most guys aren't going to be doing that and don't want to do that. Right. That's overwhelming. But we've been in every step of the way. Right. I was one man show. We've been a 2-man show. We've been a 3-man. We've been a 4-man, and we've grown all the way up to where we're at today. And so, the lessons learned and the mistakes made were made all along those journeys. So I think any contractor can really take something out of the information that we'll be sharing in this.
It would have been nice over the years to have somebody to look to that could give us a leg up on the mistakes or issues that are out there that we didn't even know to look out for. Yeah. We just had to fall into the hole and figure out how to get out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And the goal of this is to allow contractors who might have a great company running already look behind the curtains of another successful contracting company. Compare and contrast what you do and what we do. Implement some things that might help you and leave the rest. So that's our goal. What's coming up? What in the next couple podcasts? What are we going to be covering?
Well, so the next big one that's coming is hiring. Everything that you need to know about hiring, from who to hire, when to hire, how to hire, all the different steps and processes for hiring, and mainly all the mistakes that we made. We made, you mentioned the year 2016, 2017, we had a ton of hires and
a ton of fires
and a lot of wasted money.
We've already released all 5 videos. It's a 5-video series on hiring. You can go to our website, ProServeAlliance.com, and see all 5 of those videos. This podcast, we're going to walk through each of those videos and kind of focus on things that we personally struggled with in doing those. The videos are more educational of how to do this stuff. And the podcast is going to be more implementation of what we did and kind of stories of how it went wrong or how it went right.
Like when we were interviewing people and all we did is talk about how they want to work here, they should work here because we're a great company. Yeah, absolutely. Instead of actually finding out about who they work.
Yeah, we cover a lot of that. So I appreciate you guys joining us on this podcast. Listen to the next one. We got the hiring one coming out soon. Thank you so much, and hope to see you next time.
See you.
Bye.